we found out about Hallie's illness. We were coming back from Europe, from Germany, last summer, August 28th of 2011, and the plane landed, and I turned my phone on, and I called my wife, and it was that nightmare on the other end of the line, just saying that she had found, as best as she could explain to me, she had found our daughter in her crib that morning having a seizure, what appeared to be a seizure. She called 911. They came, they rushed her to the hospital, and after giving her a CT scan, they found a mass inside of her head, about a quarter of the size of her brain. And so at that point, Hallie was in emergency surgery, and my wife somehow had the clarity of mind and the coolness under pressure to contact our manager, and he met us at the airport, and Scott got me through customs, and Scott and our manager Dolph got us to the hospital, which was 3 hours away, and Scott was there for most of the night with us. During that, you know, they give you, they take you into the grieving room, and you don't know how the night's going to end. You don't know what's going to happen from moment to moment, and we were kind of in that state for about 10 days. And I remember Joe Kwan, our cellist, sleeping in a chair, and I was sleeping on the floor in a grieving room at a hospital, and it was just, you know, the worst time of a parent's life, of a person's life. But these guys, the next morning Seth was there, and over the next about 2 weeks, there was somebody from our organization there at all hours. And it was just this amazing, it was the definition of service, of serving someone. And they carried my wife and I through that awful period, and they're still there, here with us to this day, and our daughter Hallie has beaten the odds up to this point and is still here with us, and she continues to fight the cancer, and right now at this moment she's doing very well, and I'd like to thank everyone for their prayers and support. We've gotten amazing support from the AVIT Nation community and from all over the world, and we couldn't be here, and Hallie wouldn't be here without all the prayers and all the support, but the way everyone rallied around our family, it was just, you know, we've been together as a band for 12 years, and we've been through ups and downs and good times and terrible times, but nothing like this had ever happened before. And we were always close, we were always partners, we were always brothers, but it seems like this experience just took out all that last bit of daylight between us. That, you know, it's like we're forged together, you know, forever through this.
That's actually the experiences where Seth and Bob were having an interaction, and Bob told Seth, you know, we have built each other. We have exactly what Bob just said, and that's when the Carpenter idea of the one that builds and puts together in all realms, and that's where that came from. Just a side note there. I thought that was important because it kind of came during that time the album was done out.
Which is funny because a couple weeks ago I was at church, and this guy came up to me, and he was, you know, he's pretty young, and he was very like meek and hesitant, and he said, Bob, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, is the Carpenter Jesus? And I said, well, I don't think in particular, but why not? Maybe. Yeah, it could be. You know, it could be. I said, but I feel like it's more. We kind of meant it more as a tradesman, you know, a builder of songs, a builder of things. And I spoke to Scott and Seth about this after our Jimmy Kimmel performance a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned that to him, and Seth said, the Carpenter was your idea, and I had not remembered. That time is such a blur, and I did keep a journal, but I haven't gone back and looked at it. But I had not remembered that.
Well, it was a real intense moment. It was like in the first 2 days or something after she presented, and we just had a good hug, and we had this interaction, and then I left, and I stopped on the way to the parking deck and just typed it all, like typed the idea and everything, like we said, and everything on my phone. I still got it on my phone over there, but yeah, a lot of intense moments that were just a big blur now.
You know, since that moment a couple weeks ago where we talked about this, I've thought about that concept and about how, you know, Hallie, when she was born, you know, she built me in a way. You know, she opened my heart, and then this event she's even opened my heart more. And you think about how your spouse does that, and through good times of a marriage, or even the worst times, a divorce, how that changes a person, or the death of a loved one, or putting a parent into a retirement home. All these events they change us. They build us up. They tear us down. So that concept, it's just even being in the band and being a part of the creation of the project, reflecting upon it. It's just a very, it makes perfect sense.